Hello and welcome to the Unspoken CEO. This is the first episode, so we're going to see how we go. I've got lovely guest here, Maria Vavoulas, who I'm trying to work it out. I've probably known her for about 10 years since meeting her when trying to find a job before I joined Deloitte. Kind of kept in touch through that time, and now we're kind of treading similar paths. Maria has left the recruitment job work that she had, and she's now working as a fractional COO in the recruitment space. So with that fudged description, I'm going to hand over and say, hello, Maria.
Hello, and thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
But I should point out, I don't know why we actually stayed in touch, because I actually never got you a job, did I?
No, I didn't say you were very good at the recruitment thing. What I remember most was we actually met in a pub, Hamilton Hall, is it, by Liverpool Street? And I was struggling to get a job at the time. Most recruiters didn't want to talk to me because it was probably soon after recession. And you bought me a glass of wine. I thought, right, yeah, definitely like this one. No, you were honest. I think that's what kept me in touch with you. You're honest.
And thanks.
You didn't pull the wool over my eyes on anything. You said it was a difficult time, and I think you did. You did try. So then I got a job at Deloitte. Hey, yeah, let's not talk about that. I'm trying to get over that. This isn't about mental health. Tell me about yourself. So you've now gone fractional, which sounds weird.
Yeah, not a lot of people know what fractional is, and there's lots of different takes on it. It's kind of like a new buzzword, but it's not part-time. It's not full-time, obviously. The way that I explain it in simple terms is you can have me for a fraction of the time and a fraction of the cost. So lots of recruitment companies, they'll be at a size where they haven't got a full-time COO.
Yeah.
One, because they can't afford one, and two, because they don't know what they would do with one, to put it frankly. So I'll go in there and I work with clients maybe 1 day a month, 2 days a month, and just to help them, I suppose, with their strategy, put their arms around their back office. I hate that term, but I'll use it because it's well known. And just kind of connect the dots, help them kind of move forward and really just elevate their business.
How are you finding it? How different is it to what you did before?
It's actually really different, really, really different. So as you know, obviously I was a recruiter at the start of my career, and I was really actually quite good at selling. Like, I actually loved sales. But after doing it for about 9 years, I had dual hatted for so many years, doing ops, compliance, IT, loads of different things. And I woke up one day and I was like, right, I just don't get a buzz out of selling anymore. Like, this isn't what it is for me. I really want to focus on improving a business, taking it to that next level so it can grow and scale. And so I did that as a COO, and I'm a very kind of project-based COO. But I love developing people, upskilling people. I would put all of my time into my team, loved my team. And I suppose then you get to a point where you've upskilled everyone, and everyone is just fantastic, and they're so good at what they do. They don't need you necessarily. And then the projects, you've delivered everything within an organization. So then it's kind of like, well, what do I do next? And that's why I went into becoming a fractional COO, because that's the part I love. However, the worst part of it is now I've got to sell myself again. And that is absolutely hideous.
Yeah, and now that's why we're getting to the unspoken CEO part. The whole point of this is we have a similar life at the minute, that on one hand we're shouting about how great we are all over LinkedIn and telling people, oh yeah, it's great, but we're panicking about where the clients are coming from, and it's a difficult situation. Just background, I'm fractional too. I'm a fractional strategist. So how many companies have good strategy? Some, but the others come and get me for a little part of the time. That's all.
Yeah,
and it works. I love the fun of it because I love variety. But like you, I don't like sales. And you're a year or so in. How are you finding this selling piece?
Tough. I've leveraged my close network, and they've been fantastic. To be honest, the last company I worked for, They have just been awesome, so supportive. They were my first client, which really gave me that confidence. And it gave me a bit of a platform as well. So that was great. But picking up the phone, I don't know. I have a massive aversion to the phone now. And I don't know what it is. I mean, to be fair, even when my friends or family ring me, I look at it and think, oh, couldn't this have just been a WhatsApp?
Does anybody use the phone now? I remember I'm old enough to have got a job and thought, oh, look, I've got a telephone on my desk with the display and everything. Like you, it fills me with dread. Last thing I want to see.
Yeah.
But isn't it weird?
Yeah.
It used to be your job, though. You used to be, I mean, you got in touch with me, but you used to be the cold caller that would chase people down. So what's different?
Do you know, I think for me personally, the difference is then I could take myself out of the situation. When I was calling my clients that I would want to pick up kind of roles for, I was selling a company that had a really great reputation. And then when I was calling candidates cold calling, I was offering them something that probably would be a really great benefit to them and really enhance their career. So it was easy. I felt like it was easy. Now, although I have C-suite solutions, I set up a limited company. I'm not really selling C-suite solutions. I'm selling me, Maria. There's only me in my company. I'm selling me, my personality, my style, my approach, my knowledge, my expertise. And I find it hard to say, look at me, I'm the expert. That's the hardest.
It's a tough one because I've had to go through that process and realize that I used to sell, hey, I'm Deloitte. Okay, that's easy. I'm not now. I'm Patrick Bevan Limited effectively. But Deloitte and your company where you worked, they are based on people like us. So that they only had their good reputation because they had good reputable people like us. And that's how I've kind of equated it in my mind. And I know I have self-esteem challenges saying, you don't call someone, hello, you don't want me, do you? No, bye. It doesn't work. You just have to tell yourself that it's getting through that challenge because when you work for these clients, they love it. They get so much out of it, right?
Yeah. And it's such a buzz. I absolutely love what I do. I love it. My plan all along was to kind of go in and work maybe 3-4 days a week. Yeah. I didn't want to do this kind of full-time 5 days a week because actually it's quite draining. It's a lot. Yeah. It takes a lot out of me. Even the events that I do now with Rec Connect, which is a recruitment network, I will run an event on a Wednesday. Thursday, I'm out. I'm done. I am emotionally, physically done. I sit on the sofa for the whole day on Thursday.
Yeah.
So
it's almost like with the fractional world, you don't get the quiet days where we had days in the office where, okay, I'll just kind of get through today. That's easy. But you're always on. All the time you're in there, you're focused. And that's great for the customers. They get pure Maria.
Yeah. But it is a lot. Yeah.
So what's the fun? Tell me one of the best things you've done since you've been out and free and fractional.
What, personal or professional?
You choose.
I think personal for me, my life has completely changed just in the sense that I can take that. I'm not a morning person. I'm not one of these 5 a.m., get up, go to the gym. Not at all. I like to roll out of bed, have a coffee, take the dog for a walk. And that has, I think, been the best thing for me because I work on my time. So a lot of the time I'll be face-to-face with clients, but a lot of it, I'm actually sitting at my computer here in this office doing work on their behalf. And that means I can work until 10 o'clock at night. Like I'm a real kind of night owl. My creativity and my focus is kind of after 6.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the best thing for me is just having the ability to work when the hell I want.
Okay, and what's the worst bit about it? And don't say sales.
Yeah, sales. The worst bit is, I would say, I don't want to say it's lonely, because I actually really like my own company. Yeah, loads of people think I'm a massive extrovert. I'm not. I'm extrovert when I need to be.
Right.
But I'm actually quite an introvert. So it's not necessarily the loneliness, but it's that sometimes I only go out to London maybe, or to see a client. I've got clients everywhere, but I might only go out and leave the house one day a week, other than taking the dog for a walk. Yeah. And that, I think the worst part is, I don't have a lot of small talk anymore.
The water cooler, the chit chat. Yeah.
I don't have any of that. So, okay, I've got my partner, Tom, but I don't know. I just don't really, my world has become quite small and quite focused. So yeah, but it's not a bad thing either. I kind of like being at home.
It's an odd one, because in a similar way, people see me as quite extroverted, never shut up, but I feel introverted. I need my space, and I love my little shed, but I miss the Friday night beers kind of thing of we deliver something to a team, they go off and do it, that's great, but then we just turn off our cameras, sit here going, well, now what do we do? And there's that weird loneliness that we're in, but we're not fully in. Having said that, one of the best things for me was I quit drinking since stopping having 9 to 5, and I'm sure there's a coincidence in there somewhere, but yeah, I certainly get that adapting to loneliness. And what sort of things have you done? Have you tried to kind of get more people into your life, or?
Probably the best thing that I've done is partner up with, I mentioned them before, Rat Connect, and then a members network within the recruitment industry. So really lovely people. I've been part of it. I was a member for years, and they've got a WhatsApp group, and during COVID that just went absolutely, off the charts. With nobody was seeing each other, nobody was meeting up, so everything went through that WhatsApp group. And I started partnering with them last year, kind of just like hosting events for them. And I got so passionate about it that I actually have gone on board as their board advisor. And that is my way of opening myself up and getting out there. But there's a marketing event next week, and I'm not a marketer. I don't, it's not something I necessarily need to go to, but I'll get to be around people for a day. Yeah. So, fun. Conversations, and just creating more things that I can actually come home and tell Tom about, because at the moment.
Did you take the dog for a walk? Did you take the dog for a walk? Yeah.
Took the dog for a walk.
Have you put the dishwasher on?
Exactly. Yeah. So that's I'm trying. What are you doing to get out there then?
Well, I've got this weird setup that I've got a sustainability company that is going slowly, but by design, so that's fine. But on my strategic thing, I go to networking events, and I really don't like them. I find them icky and awkward. They're not natural, and it's I haven't found the answer yet. Actually, I'm trying different things. Podcasts, I enjoy talking. I really do enjoy talking. I think we both have this thing that people need to get to know us, to trust us, to want to work with us. If a flat email comes from us, it's that's just somebody else trying to sell me something. But once they understand us and what we can do, we can help. And we only want to help people that need our help. Yeah. But it's trying to get that message across without being, hi, I'm Patrick, I've got 3 minutes to talk to you, and this speed network. Never do speed networking. That's one thing. Never. I can tell you that one for sure. That's a horrible experience. But just keep trying. And I think leveraging your network, people you've worked for, so just asking them, well, who do you know that could benefit from what I do? And getting a proper warm referral like that really does help.
Yeah.
But
I've had to do a lot of that. I don't do it. I don't think I actually do it enough.
Yeah.
Because I think with fractional, it's not a, I'll spend a day with you and everything's going to be fixed and perfect. That's not what it's about. So I always think, well, when is the good time? When have I delivered enough value that I can confidently get a really good referral or a recommendation from this person without it being awkward and them thinking, well, I haven't seen much value yet. So, I don't want it to be awkward.
If you give me a good reference, I'll do an even better job tomorrow. No, that doesn't work either. No, I find people do respect you for your work, and they'll want to support you. They'll get what you're doing. That's what I found. They get it.
Yeah.
And they are there to really help promote you. It feels icky. It feels icky asking. We've spent all our careers having to get through the annual review, and annual didn't get quite the bonus I wanted kind of nonsense. But now we've got to do that process all for ourselves by asking people we're actively delivering for. And I've upset a client by doing the right thing. In my early days, I thought I had an absolute brilliant client, but it turned out we won't be able to track this back, but he was kind of the problem once I got in there, which is often the case. So as far as he was concerned, I didn't do the best of jobs because I exposed a lot of the challenges that were around him. And I didn't ask him for a reference.
Yeah. Funny that though, it's kind of similar in my world, because I'm hired by like recruitment business owners, and they want the best for their company. And they want to move it forward. They want to, grow their revenue. They want to scale. They want to optimize everything. And really, actually, when it comes down to it, it's their lack of clarity within their strategy. It's a lack of communication. And then they tend to be the bottlenecks. And that's quite difficult because, I haven't gone in there with the intention of kind of exposing them as the problem here. But more often than not, it does come from the top.
Yeah,
so
almost always.
Yeah, 99.999% of the time.
And it's our art to get to the heart of the leader and find out what they really want and help them get it. Because it'll come out as we need more profit, change the staff, do this, that. What you're actually trying to achieve?
Yeah,
you've asked me that before.
Yeah,
so it's not just me then. It's just us two.
Yeah, it's funny, and that's that. I really focus on. It's another word that people don't really know, like facilitation.
Yeah.
And I'm a fractional COO and a facilitator, and people are just like, what the hell do you do?
You do all the jobs that nobody ever gives any respect to, really, because nobody cares about the facilitator. Nothing happens without a facilitator, but nobody cares about them. Nobody cares about the project manager until it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Why be chosen this? Like some kind of glutton.
Yeah. But it's funny, but that's the way that we get to the crux of the problems, right? Is you facilitate and you extract information. And a lot of the time, when I go into businesses, it's the people within the business that really have the answers somewhere deep down inside, but nobody's asking them because the leadership are leading from the top and they're disseminating all this information down and all these actions and fabulous new tools and everything that goes on. And actually, it's kind of really simple. You just actually need to ask some questions and get people involved.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm kind of really focusing on now, because by unearthing those problems or the ideas, it doesn't all have to be negative. Could be that they've got a load of ideas and they just don't know what to do with them. But by doing it in the way that I am through facilitation, kind of naturally rolls onto the fractional COO part, because then they realize, oh, okay, there is now that we've had this discussion, now we know what you can help us with.
It's interesting. You just made me think. I'm fractional strategist on one side. You're a fractional COO, but I think what we're both we're fractional catalysts. with that person that is dropped in that can see what's going on at all levels and bring them together.
Yeah.
I've certainly done that way. Yeah, just getting somebody from the shop floor to talk to a manager. Oh, we never thought of doing that. Well, you just needed a me or a Maria in the room to get that done.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like the simplest of things. Like I was working with a client recently, and the CEO and the person in ops, they sit down on a regular basis and have discussions, but it's always just it's like firefighting. They're very reactive. And I sat them down, and, it was a good kind of hour and a half conversation, but the whole point of it was to bring them together and actually give them a structure of, okay, every time you meet, every 2 weeks, this is a structure you're going to follow. It's going to feel really formulaic, but it's going to feel a little bit weird at the start. But once you get into that kind of rhythm, you will both walk out with what you need to know. And it's not going to be firefighting. It's actually going to be more proactive, strategic stuff that you can focus on.
So on that point, and that's, again, very similar to the way I work, I love watching lots of things on LinkedIn about here's a cool project or a cool company. But we know that behind that video, the truth is people are just having the conversations that are missing all the time. And every now and then somebody kind of clicks, and it's more common to have the former than a nice ordered communication structure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like 100%. I think, and do you know what? I am so guilty of this. Like I spent my whole career like having multiple conversations about exactly the same topic, nothing ever kind of really happening about it, and making decisions from the top and thinking I'm doing the best thing for the business and for the employees. And actually it was last year when I took a step back and I thought, oh my God, I need to apologize to everyone that I have ever worked with. Because absolutely everyone. Because that's not how it is.
It's the same. I look back on some of the projects I ran and just think, what was I doing? I thought I was doing my best. And, it's some of it, it's not quite shameful. I was doing my best, but I was just lost like everyone else.
Yeah. And I think, reflection, having time to reflect. And I think we've both been in a position actually where we have had that opportunity to take some time out and really reflect on what have we been doing for the last X amount of years? Where do we want to go? What makes us happy? Like, what do we want out of life? And I think it's when you give yourself that time for reflection and like the kindness to be able to kind of look at yourself and look at the mistakes and kind of own up to them, that's when that kind of, I'm going to sound a little bit like woo-woo here, but that's kind of when that like growth happened for me.
So what do you want to do? That's a big question for you.
What
do you want to do?
What do I want to do?
I know you want to do, where do you want to go with this fractional COO?
In a way, I kind of want to, at the moment, I'm using the facilitation as a way into the fractional COO work.
Yeah.
But in a way, I think I would like to really just focus on more of the kind of, let's scrap the word facilitation and, say it for what it is. I run workshops, but they're really kind of gathering everyone together in the room to make decisions, make decisions on ideas or problems or whatever, and like move the business forward. And what I love about that is I kind of get to go in, I spend the day with people. I'm not the one providing the solution, although my company is called C-Suite Solutions. I'm actually not the one that's providing that solution.
It's a con. Okay.
Yeah, it's all a con. They are the ones that are coming up with the solutions. I'm just helping them get there. And then I kind of walk away from it and I let them get on with it. And I think that's what I really enjoy then. Kind of, I'll catch up in a month's time for a kind of accountability and say, okay, where are we at with this? This is what we agreed during the workshop, where are we at? And most of the time, they're on track. They've taken it seriously. Things are really working, and that's great. And what it means is they don't necessarily really need me. So I'd love to do 80% of that, and then maybe have a few clients where I do the fractional COO, put my arms around them. Yeah.
I would say one of the mistakes, and we're going back to when I worked for HSBC, one of the mistakes I know I made as a project manager, to what you were saying there, is I'd get everyone doing things. I could disappear for a week and then come back and do the next kind of weekly and see how they'd done. And maybe that was the best thing to do. But instead, I was sat there for a week going, well, what do I do? Oh, I'll meddle. And I meddled and thought, I'm not micromanaging, I'm helping. No. So I'm almost, probably like you, I'm almost ideally suited to this fractional, because it's like, give people instruction, go away, let them do it, come back. They can call if they need to, that's fine, but trust people. And I thought I always did trust, but the actions I were taking didn't show that I trusted as much as I wanted to. That's one of my reflections. So I should, all my career, I should only have worked 1 day a week, really.
If only you'd
some
known.
managers probably thought I did, so there you go.
I think at the beginning of my career, I was a proper little micromanager. And I really evolved as a manager over the years. And I think for me, if I'd have stayed at my last company, we had made a decision, the strategy was we've spent the last 3 years changing up the business. We'd made so many changes. The next 3 years are going to be, let's kind of keep it just a little bit more calm, no more major changes. And for me, I think I really trust my team, and I hope to think I didn't micromanage them. Maybe we'll get some comments on this that from my ex team that said I did, but my worst it's already there. My worst habit was, I have ideas, loads of them, probably not great ideas, but I'm always thinking, how can we do this better? How can we improve? How can we do this differently? And that was my worst trait as a manager. I just kept throwing ideas at my team, and I don't think I was clear enough in that it was, you don't have to do this or act on it. I'm just brain dumping. I don't think I was clear enough on that.
This is starting to annoy me in a way, because I keep saying we're so alike. We're so alike. That's another one that. And if anything, it's my wife that's taught me this one more than anything, that me just brain dumping ideas is useful to me, but what's she supposed to do with them? What are my staff supposed to do with them? Well, I'm showing you there are other ways. Well, I'm doing it this way. Oh yeah. Whereas I think we can go pam, 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 and then somebody reminds me, oh, that was last week's idea. Forget that. Anyway, move on.
Yeah.
So,
but isn't it weird? Because I've spent my whole career working with people who I've reported into that have been that way as well. Like, just had loads and loads of ideas and brain dumped them on me. And so I know how frustrating that is. And I knew how to manage upwards. Like, I would know how to do that. Okay, let's park this. Okay, do you want to be, dig a bit deeper into this? Is this something really, okay, no, it was just a rubbish idea, fine. And I would have ways of managing that, but I failed to kind of recognize that I was probably doing that to my team as well.
Yeah. And there's the disruptive angle that I certainly felt. Some managers really appreciated the ideas. Others just saw them as me being difficult. So no, I don't think I'm trying to help.
Yeah.
So
I've been
difficult. Can I ask you a couple of questions about kind of on the unspoken CEO theme of, it's trying to see what's going on behind the mask. Now, this could be from before you went fractional or in your fractional career, but just times that show people that when it looks all fine on the surface, there's more going on behind. Do you have an example? Do you have a time when there was much more going on than you shared?
Yeah. I think thinking back to COVID, and look, I didn't lose anyone during COVID. I was very, very lucky. But when COVID happened, Tom and I were living in a top floor flat in Finsbury Park, no outdoor space. Well, we did have a balcony, but the month before COVID, our balcony started leaking and the roof was just our living room ceiling was pouring with water. So we had to tarpaul the whole thing. So we were obviously going to get it fixed. And then COVID happened. Oh. So we didn't even have an outdoor space. And Tom has ulcerative colitis, which is an autoimmune disease. And right. So, right at the start, we were having text messages from the doctors saying, don't even open a window. Like we were washing all of our shopping coming in with, like fairy liquid, and just, it was really, really stressful. And he got very sick, and he's 6'4". He went down to about 70 kilos.
Oh my word.
I was heavier than him. Yeah. And he was really sick. And because of my role within the recruitment company, I was a group COO, and I had offices all over the world. And unfortunately, it's quite lonely in the job that you have, because you can't show your panic to everybody. Everybody is panicking about COVID. Nobody knows, there's different types of furloughs going on in all the different countries that I was working with. I had Tom really sick at home. We couldn't really leave the house, even to go for the walk. We weren't allowed to open our windows. And it was a highly emotive kind of environment. And I was really, really lonely, struggling. And I just remember I did not want my team to know, and you'll love this. I obviously had an HR app. So my team, and they were based around the world. I went on Amazon. Can I say Amazon? I went on Amazon and I bought baseball caps, and I got them customized to our brand color, which was like a purple color, with a hashtag make it happen, which was our team kind of logo, hashtag make it happen. And I got them all made up and I sent them out to the team. And I just remember just trying my best to get everyone not to panic, not to fall down, and to kind of keep it strong, because, whilst most recruiters were getting furloughed, I work in back office. So finance still had to be there. Ops still had to be there. So, we were working twice the hours that anyone else was working. And I found it quite difficult to kind of put a brave face on all that.
Wow. So just for context, because I think when people talk about COVID, it's, that COVID thing. Yeah, but it's worth remembering when that happened, a week after I turned 50, and everyone got locked in, we were scared. We thought, I know in Deloitte we'd had cases on the floor and it had all been shut down. And everyone was terrified of this thing. We'd seen the pictures from Italy, so we were fearful of our lives. We didn't know what was going to happen. We were fearful for our jobs. Well, if the company's going to shut down for a year, what happens? And in those early days, and then we were all hearing stories about somebody. I'm similar. I didn't know anyone that died, but in my wife's school, one of the teachers did in very early days. But we were living in that terror. What I find fascinating about what you just said there, and I think it brings through the character that you are, is that you didn't share it. You went further. You bought baseball caps to build a community among your people, to say we're sticking together on this, and that not many people did that. That's a special thing you did there.
I always love the team that I work with, and I want, the absolute best for them. But we were working harder than ever. And, you've got, I think when everyone was furloughed, it was amazing weather that year as well. for some reason, like the sun gods came out, and
I was in the garden all the time. I wore shorts, so no, you didn't have balcony. Yeah, let's not go there.
no, I had no outside space.
Yeah.
But it was most of the recruitment companies were furloughing their people, and then you'd see that loads of different WhatsApp groups or whatever, and people traveling down to Brighton to have a day down the beach, and I'm struggling here trying to figure out how to pay people. So it was hard. So I that was probably one of the swan moment, where I'm trying to be really calm and positive and okay, we got this, guys. And underneath I was just like, oh my God, my partner's wasting away, in front of my eyes. And
think of all those people around the world that were getting to put a hat on who had something going on in their background too, but at least they had that, oh, Maria cares, the company cares. And to be fair to Deloitte went out of its way to show we're all in this together. And I know there were many companies that didn't. So that's a special one. Well done. And how's Tom now?
Good, yeah. There's some he's got some fantastic drugs. He hates me saying the word drugs. Medication.
Drugs.
Yeah, they get delivered, and it's a special courier. And so the guy opened the door the other week, and we've got a Ring doorbell video, so it's all caught on camera. I can't pretend it didn't happen. And I opened the door, and my puppy was sleeping. I was like, oh my God, he's just gone to sleep. Please, so I opened the door as if to say, like, okay, hi, have you got the drugs? And he stood there and looked and was like, don't think you should say that too loud, love.
No. Caught on camera.
Caught on camera.
We're all going to go into Maria's for a bit of drugs. Okay.
I know, that video went round the family. God, yeah, not my finest moment.
Yeah, but keep going, you can smile. Right, another one for you then. No, you did tell me one before we started, but you can share more. But tell us up to three things about yourself that you don't normally share with people you work with. Yeah,
I think I find this really hard. And I think one of the reasons I find it hard is that I am a massive oversharer. Like I will, but it's weird. I will share every single thing about my life apart from the really personal, private things. So you will know whether I've stubbed my toe, whether I've wet myself because I've laughed so hard. Like I am like no holds barred, right? Here is me and you've got me. But when it comes to the serious stuff, I'm really, really private. I don't really open up a lot. And that works for me. I'm not kind of internally combusting or anything because I hold so much in. It works for me, but it's quite hard to think about things that that people don't know. But probably the fact that I have misophonia. Do you know what misophonia is?
I feel like I should. No, tell me.
No, I don't. This is the thing. I don't really tell a lot of people. But misophonia is kind of like where I can explain it. It's like a hatred of sound. And something happens in like your amygdala, where like your emotional responses are, and it seems really irrational to everyone else. But when I hear pen tapping or repetitive noises and I can't figure out where that noise is coming from, if I hear people breathing, chewing, slurping, all of it's a lot of it are kind of like soft sounds or repetitive sounds. People with a sibilant S. And sometimes I think, because I think about it so much, my S's come out like really snaky. But all of those, I'm not afraid of them. It it triggers this emotional response that I cannot stop, that is absolute rage. And to the point where I do have to explain to some people that I have it, because I will say to them, if you don't stop doing that, I'm going to stab you in the eye with that pencil. Like, stop it. And
Wow.
it's like a red mist. It takes over. I have never stabbed anyone, by the way, I would like to say.
I'm the ultimate fidget. You'd have killed me by now if we were in person.
Oh my God, yeah. Women with long fingernails who do the tap, 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 tap.
No. Or people that do that funny spinny thing with their pen on their thumb. Like, I want to kill people.
See, that's fine for me.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, that's fine, because it's not.
It's a weird one then. Apple, officers have fruit bowls. It's great. And then you end up in the lift with somebody eating an apple.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So I'm not saying I had the same on that one, but I've never wanted to stab. Oh, no, there are plenty of people I've wanted to stab.
Oh no, this is going down. Don't snip this bit out.
Okay, that's gone. We cut that bit out. Good list of names, though. We got that.
Yeah, but it is hard. It's hard because I have to have background noise. So when the COVID and working from home and all that has been amazing for me, because I can really control my environment. I remember when I just started at one of the companies that I work for, and I said to the CEO, I have to have my desk with my back to a wall, and I have to be on the end. I cannot sit in between two people, and I cannot have somebody sat behind me. And he thought I was absolutely nuts. But that I had to be able to kind of control that environment, to have the least amount of people who could come in my space and make noises and make me angry.
It's good that you know that. I mean, ADHD is one thing I know I have, and it's only when I got diagnosed that I found out that when you're in a pub, not everybody can hear everyone else's conversations. It's actually kind of an ADHD thing, that I'm trying to listen to you, but my brain is listening to every other conversation around here, and it's overwhelming. Yeah, and that's a repression for me, so I just don't go out anymore.
Oh, that's so sad, isn't it?
I do. But no, it's similar to you. It's like, if I'm in that situation, I find it easier to say to somebody, look, I can't actually hear. I can hear you, but I can't take it in. Yeah. So let's move. Let's find somewhere.
Yeah. Isn't it funny? Like I'm like really like that with the TV. If the TV is on, to watch an hour episode of something, if I'm sitting there with Tom, it will probably take us 3 hours, because we have to pause every time he wants to speak. I cannot listen to him and listen to the telly at the same time.
Is he just saying, can we stop watching this now, please?
Yeah, most of the time, because it's reality TV.
So that's something else then. So you like reality TV?
Oh yeah, I love a bit of reality. I love brain bleach. I think the world is so serious that for me, a bit of reality, inane crap on the telly, it just lets me kind of relax and not have to. Like, I don't watch the news. I'm not ashamed to admit that I don't watch the news. No. Because there's enough going on in my own life without having all of that. So, yeah, reality TV is my thing.
During COVID, I turned off all of the news apps, because I just thought, if we need to know, we'll know. But like many people, I was just scrolling for the latest stat, the latest this, the latest. It was just depressing. Just get rid. So I fully support you not reading the news, but there's a limit to brain bleach.
I love a bit of brain bleach.
So anything else you want to share? Anything else that we don't know about Maria?
So a lot of people don't know. I actually, when I finished my A-levels, and I loved school. I was not really academic. I got very good grades, but I wasn't really academic. But I loved school. I loved learning, but I was very sassy at the same time. And rather than going straight onto university, I actually moved to America, and I lived with a host family, and I did my senior year of high school in Colorado.
Wow.
Yeah. And this was, and I was a cheerleader. I was on the debate club. They let me, okay, I don't play a musical instrument, but I really, really wanted to walk with the band in the parade. So they gave me these massive cymbals, and obviously it's loud. Everyone's cheering, you're walking down the road. And so they just gave me these cymbals, and oh my God, I was so happy. I was just banging away with my cymbals, but I got to wear the band jacket, and I just tried to do as much as I possibly could while I was there.
And those two people walking either side of you probably had misophonia with you with your cymbals.
I probably caused them tinnitus at some point.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Would you go back? Any hankering to have stayed out there?
No, I found it as much as I loved it, it was really tough. I was class of 98, so I went over in 97. And so no mobile phone, no internet. I wrote letters home, and the phone calls. Yeah, phone calls were really expensive.
Yeah.
You had a mobile phone?
It was through my job, but it never went off, and we weren't allowed to use it because it cost too much.
Well, yeah. Well, I didn't have one, and the family that I was living with at the time, they weren't rich. They didn't have loads of money to spend, and so I think I was only allowed to use the phone like once a month, and that was hard. I mean, I remember, I'm 17, 18 years of age, and I'm writing letters, and I'm making like bookmarks for my mum with pressed flowers. I would never have done that if I was still at home. I'm from Barry Island. I'm a Cardiff girl. I was clubbing at 14, and what was I doing at 17?
Chip Alley in Cardiff, isn't it? I've had my time
Chip Alley. Yeah. But it was quite lonely. Yeah. Although I made loads of friends and it was fantastic and I really got involved, it was lonely from a point of view of, I just couldn't contact people when I wanted to contact them.
Interesting though. If you had Insta and WhatsApp and this, that, and the other, would you have made the friends that you made?
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe I wouldn't have thrown myself, because I had to throw myself in there.
You wouldn't have had your big symbols.
No. I would have had a phone in my hand instead.
Exactly.
I would have been filming it. Yeah, I would have been filming it rather than doing my symbols. Sorry, my dog here is, I don't know whether you can see him.
I can see he's been playing at the door.
Jerry.
I'm not mine.
Jerry, there you go. Yeah, he's whining at me.
How old?
He is 1 year at the end of this month.
Lovely.
So
nice and playful and annoying.
Yeah. Really, really annoying.
Yeah, they get better. Well, look, I thought that's been lovely. Is there anything else you'd like to say? Anything else we need to know about you, or do you want to call it a day?
No, I think we've had a good chat. It's funny how similar we are.
Scary. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I got the looks, but otherwise, yeah, pretty similar. I got the looks and the delusional tendencies. That's the stuff.
Well, I'm really, really honoured to be your first guest here.
Lovely.
I love that. And I love the fact that we're still connected after so much time and in completely different industries now. That just goes to show,
keep going. I think, I feel like I'm leading my second life now, and people say, oh, you keep changing stuff. No, I'm still finding where I go. So pivot away. We've grown up. We've learned all these amazing skills, and we can deliver them in different ways now. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
Right. So I'll say goodbye. Evolving.
Thank you so much.
Devolving feels like sometimes. Thank you very much, Maria.
Thank you.